Welcome back to another episode of Flawless Play in Garage, where today we are once again by popular demand, and by popular demand I mean absolutely no demand of any kind from anyone. But we're working on the 1994 Buick Roadmaster station wagon, into which I am attempting to cram a 6.6 liter LB7 Duramax and Allison transmission. And as we have discovered in the last few installments, it doesn't fit at all, like not even a little bit. But with enough cutting and grinding and cutting and cutting again, and then hopefully some welding back together, we're going to make it fit. And we are going to hopefully finish the front end chassis frame rail fabrication today, which has been required in order to graft a Corvette front subframe and suspension in to give me the room that I need to fit the Duramax. But first, before we get into the action, today's video is sponsored by friends letting me borrow their tools, because if they hadn't done that, I would never have made it this far. So thanks, Daryl, for the welder. Stay tuned. And it all starts with plates. The plates start with cardboard, because that is how we make things. So we are going to join the old frame rail to this new 2x4 rectangle tube steel frame rail. And to do so, we're going to be cutting and trimming some of these areas to shape the old frame rail to give us kind of a nicer and more natural transition into the new frame rail. And then with the cardboard mock-ups I've started here, we'll be taking steel plate and making pieces of steel join all of it together in several layers. So to give it sufficient strength, not only am I using plate steel that is the same thickness, or in some cases a little thicker than the original frame, but we're also doing multiple layers of it. So there'll be inner fish plates, main plates on top, and then additional fish plates to kind of cover all the seams and joints and give us a lot of really good strength. But it all starts with shaping, templating, cutting, cleaning up what's cut, and then eventually welding that together. point in every project where you have to do 5 things to get them out of your way so you can get to the thing you actually need to do. Well, that's been the last couple days for me. So this is my trusty and really awesome. I've had this thing at least 12, 15 years now. Little Hobart 110 volt MIG, which has been great. I'm no great welder, but this thing is sure a great tool to have around the shop. But as we're getting into welding plate on this frame, it's just not enough juice. So I borrowed from a good friend, thanks Daryl, this Hobart, which is a 210. It's a 220 volt, quite a bit more power. He even has a nice welding cart, nice bigger gas bottle. But of course, being a 220 welder, the plug that I use for all my other 220 equipment, like the plasma cutter and the drill press, is one of these, I forget what they're called, like the L6 NEMA or whatever, round type plugs that go in and twist, whereas his welder was set up with more of the whatever you call it, like the typical dryer plug. So had to make myself a little extension cord adapter. Let's not tell OSHA, okay? Thanks. Okay, let's see. I've got some cardboard templates I need to cut out. All this fancy brand new steel, but gosh, steel keeps getting more expensive. Where could I find some steel? Oh, look at that. The old front subframe. Okay, time for test fit number 487. I have tacked in my plates. I have gently bolted in the subframe, mostly just to kind of hold the dimensions while I tacked everything together. The front rails are tacked, top and bottom. And these rear sections are tacked in. And some really ugly tacking on some like inner fish plates going in here as well. So I think I'm ready to set the drivetrain back in it. Well, we may not have to acquit because it might fit. I think we're going to try a quick body drop again and double check the positioning that we're still okay, having raised everything an inch and having moved the engine 3/4 of an inch forward. And as usual, when lowering the car, I've forgotten that I have to cut these braces off because these braces do not fit. The body doesn't fit around them. That's what I'm trying to say. So those need to go. And then we can do the test fit. Okay, body is down, and with everything shoved up an inch, I still have, clearance might be a strong word. You can see that it's just actually touching there, the body of the turbo, even without any heat shielding, or it's touching the cowl there, but I can stretch that, cut that, move that a little bit. Then I do actually finally have room to have my lightly modified downpipe in place, and I've got, a finger's width of room behind it, so I've got room for a little heat shielding back there and keep it from actually sitting on the firewall. It is still tight down lower. You see there's a little bump out right here in the firewall. that I might need to modify or modify the downpipe some more. But otherwise, I think that's probably going to fit. So I think I need to trim and give myself some clearance up here like I had planned before. I need to trim or clearance over here a bit. And otherwise, the extra inch of height is not too bad as far as the transmission intruding into the passenger compartment. It still intrudes quite a bit. Still going to have to cut out and redo that whole drive shaft tunnel. But, you know, it's not a lot worse, I guess. It's going to be tough not making this look like Roadkill's Super Sammy, where there's no room for my feet over there. But, you know, trans tunnel is a problem for another day. Overall, I'm happy with this fitment. I think this is probably the right spot to have the drivetrain in this car. Does it fit? It's kind of a stretch, but I think we've made it fit, and I think this placement's going to work close enough anyway that I think I'm ready to commit and start really welding these frame rails together. Okay, so we've made decent progress so far. We've got the like inner plate down and the outer plates on. I want to add another layer to just keep adding strength. So this is going to go on here and then get bent down to kind of follow the curve. And the fish plates are done. Here on the passenger side, we've got one on the outside and one on the inside. And on the driver's side as well. So that makes a small fish plate on the inside, joining the 2x4 to the original frame. Then the little angled fish plate inside here. Then this big plate out here. Then this fish plate here. Then this outer plate here. Then this plate here. This one here. And these down here. And some little bits underneath there too. Same on the other side. So I'm fairly confident this is now stronger than it was originally, but certainly as strong as that single layer folded steel frame was before. So I think we're in as good a shape back here as we can be. Now to finish up some bits up front here, I need to finish joining these front little frame horns to the frame rails, and I think I would like to actually cap these off and maybe put a bit of an angle cut in these to kind of finish the way that these all join together. Just like before, or just like in the rear, I've got an inner plate and an outer plate. So 2 layers to join everything here. And then we'll try to plate something in here, plate the back to cap it off, and then my front frame rail joining should be done as well. Okay, I think it's time to cut the I-beam off so I can get into where I need to finish up welding on these front frame rails. And I don't know if I really need to do this or not, but after a while you begin to lose faith in measurements. And so I just wanted to bolt up the front bumper again and make sure that it still fit. Seems fine. Front radiator support still drops into place, looks fine. So I don't think anything's changed dimensionally too much. Although also it's worth noting that there's a lot of slop built in to all these connections, or adjustment maybe I should say, for 1990s GM build quality built-in adjustment ranges there. So I think we're good. Time to cut this guy off and then work on finishing up these front frame horns. Okay, this has been a lot of work, and to be honest, pretty far outside of my comfort zone, but overall, I'm excited about this. I'm feeling pretty good about the overall graft of the C5, C6 front suspension into the B-body chassis and the room that it's giving me for activities like dropping in that diesel. And this is a big milestone. This has been months in coming, but it feels good to finally have, the basic parts of the frame itself ready for the diesel. Yeah, we'll go with that. Thanks for watching. See you next time.